Hi Taurus, welcome to my channel. My name is Kim. So for today's meditative session, I saw a snake. So you guys have snake spirit, time to heal, number 55. It's interesting because I feel like some of you guys might be in that, I felt like, 5-5, that's the time of change, but I'm really seeing it as like, I think you've completed healing. You've completed some sort of healing and you need to you kind of have to give yourself a hug, give yourself a pat on the back, and go celebrate the fact that you have come really far, right? Sometimes I'm getting you have to do some healing right now, and maybe for some of you, you do. But for the majority of you, I feel like there's always healing that needs to be done. So I'm not saying that we don't have more work to do, but I'm just saying as of right now, I feel like you should go enjoy the fact that you have come really far. I feel like if you look back at where you were 2 years ago versus today, I don't mean monetary wise. I don't mean career wise. I mean mentally, emotionally, right? If you look back, I feel like you're doing a lot better. And I think you need to go celebrate the fact that you are doing much better than you were, right? And yes, again, we have healing to do. We always do. But it's time to kind of enjoy the fact that 2 years ago, you weren't, I want to say you weren't that good, right? You were, there's stuff that you were struggling with. I mean, we all struggle with stuff, but I just feel like when I think back for you guys, I get really sad. So I think that it's not a time to be sad. It's a time to kind of be happy at the fact that you've come such a far way, right? With time to heal. And this 5-5 is making a 10 for me. It's the end and the beginning, right? We can look at it both ways, but I feel like right now is the time to be happy, is the time to celebrate the fact that you ended this really hard cycle and you're on to the next, right? So yeah, Taurus, I really like this energy. Let's pull some cards and see what you got. So Taurus, I'm getting this really, really beautiful energy for you guys. I have a true pair here with the King of Water and the Queen of Water, who's at the bottom of the deck. And I have you here, the King of Earth, right? What was it saying? We don't look at genitals, we look at the energy, right? The vibe. So this is you. This is Earth energy. And I feel like here we have confirmation with the snake, this death and rebirth, right? This healing, and it's coming at the end. So I want to say that it's kind of all led up to this point, right? And we have the heaven and earth as the ending card. And you might have Aquarius in your chart, because I did an Aquarius love reading today and their potential outcome was the heaven and earth. I don't know. I'm just getting Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius in your chart, go look at the love reading. But I'm feeling really strongly that this is the end and the ending and the beginning, right? The ending and the beginning, and this ending for you, and this beginning, right? This beginning that's happening for you after this death and rebirth comes. Look at this lush green energy, and it's in your element, right? It's in this earth element. So it's it's reminding me of this movie where he's I was born of this, right? They throw, it's Constantine. They throw fire on the devil and he's I was born of this. You can't hurt me with fire. I was born of fire. And that's what I feel I'm kind of feeling that vibe, but positively, right? This is you, right? And this is your element, right? This death and rebirth comes and you get to be firmly planted in your element, and you get the best cards, right? You have the heaven and earth card, right? And this is one of my favorite cards for illustrating how lush the cycle will be, right? Do you see how she has jewels on her, and she has the most beautiful leaves? I want to say she's decked out, but in earth, right? And I feel that's what this new cycle is going to be for you. And I think you have to really believe it, because I know it's hard to see it 3D wise, right? 3D wise is well, I don't have freaking jewels on, I'm not cascading in all this abundance, but maybe it's the way you're looking at it too, right? maybe it's the way that you're looking at the abundance here. Like I have someone here who's kind of blind, right? So it's like, maybe it's the way that you look at this abundance, right? And to see that you're closer to this abundance than you think that you are. Because again, abundance I feel like this has a lot to do with mental too. It's like where you were in the past, it was like mental, right? It was like more mental. And I think you need to look at yourself and see how, like, be proud of how far you've come, right? And I think there was an emotional wound for you, right? With the King and Queen of Cups, it's like, and you leaving a situation, it's like there was something emotional here that happened to you that hurt you, and it created like a scar. And this person is like looking at the scar and they're okay with it, right? They're looking at the scar and they're like, this is like the energy to be proud, right? Like be proud of what has happened. Like they're looking at their scar and they're like, you know what? It's actually really beautiful because this happened to me and I was able to kind of get over it, right? And maybe I'm getting the vibe like your job is to tell other people how to get over something like you've been through. Yeah, I'm feeling like the energy to tell you that, like, if you've been through a really harsh cycle in your life where it took a lot to get through something and it created these scars, it's like, one, to be proud of them, but two, like, maybe you have a responsibility to help others with the same kind of problem, right? Because I feel like for some reason when I got this card, I could feel like the sadness of the past, right? Like before the healing, like the energy, like of, I don't know, it's just like very sad. Like I felt the energy, and it's like you've come a long way. Maybe you still have healing to do, but it's like you've come really far, and it's time to kind of acknowledge the fact that you've come really far, right? And I feel like you have some sort of responsibility, some of you, to like humanity, to help them with the same issue that you've had, because I think that a lot of people would benefit from knowing how it is that you got through a certain cycle in your life. That's for some of you. Anyway, why I feel like this emotional wound had a lot to do with love is because I have the King of Cups right after it, and it's like, I feel like you're kind of getting back to this element, right, of being open and receptive again, of wanting to give your heart out again. And I think it was really hard for you to get back into this energy. It could be like years for some of you guys to have like reached the level where you can look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you see and not be ashamed of like, well, this person left me, or this person doesn't want to be with me. I feel like this has a lot to do with love, right? This healing has a lot to do with love, like self-love, the love that others give us, the love that we like don't receive sometimes, right? And it has to do with like, I feel like that's what the cycle had a lot to do with, right? It had a lot to do with like the fact that you had to kind of find that love for yourself again, right? When someone like rejects us, I think it does a toll on us mentally, because it's like you start to wonder why they rejected me, and like if I'm not good enough, and it has a lot to do with your value, right? And I feel like you're leaving that behind, right? You're leaving that mentality behind, that mentality of this reading has a lot to do with mentality. It's like the mental, right? And I know I don't have that many swords here, but I feel like they don't really want to talk about what you're healed from, right? Like they just want to talk about how good you're doing. And this is like the energy you're in now, right? And like the energy, to me, the match that you're at, like the match for you, right? Because I have the King and Queen here. So it's like they just want me to talk about like, look, this is you now sitting in like the King energy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you have love here. You did this whole cycle of death and rebirth. You're gonna have all this abundance. Like they don't want to talk about this cycle. They don't want to talk about it. And I understand it. It's like they don't want you to see. Like I feel like you've been in that cycle for a really long time. So it's like they don't want to talk about it, because it's like you've already analyzed it more than like not more than you should have, but you've already kind of gone through the work. So it's like, yeah, it's just the time celebrating, right? Like look at this energy that you're in, right? Look at the fact that you chose to kind of like love yourself. You chose to leave, even if it's the mentality or whatever you chose to leave behind, right? That wasn't working for you, right? Like you chose yourself, I want to say, like you chose love, but you chose it for yourself, right? Like this love, I feel like, is for you. And because you loved yourself enough, you get the same thing back, right? Like when you don't love yourself, you get that back, right? Like you get that back in a person, like a person who doesn't really love you either. But when you really love yourself, you receive that same love. So it's really interesting, Taurus. I feel like because you chose to love yourself, because you chose to like, whatever this means, this love means for yourself, whatever you chose to do for yourself, right? Even if it was just getting up in the morning and getting out of bed, or, you know, whatever it was, like I feel like it was really serious. So it's like whatever you chose to do that showed love for yourself, that's why this new cycle is starting, right? I feel like you respect yourself more, you love yourself more, and that's why you're sitting in this king energy. This king is abundant, this king is generous, this king is supportive, right? And that's all that you are. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like, again, because you're generous and supportive, it's like, I feel like you have maybe some sort of job here where it's like you have to help others, right? Help others with maybe the same thing that you've been through, or in some way, like your career might have a lot to do with being like philanthropic, right? Like giving back. I feel like this Five of Swords I feel like it has a lot to do with the love for yourself. Like that you chose to see that you are valuable, right? Like that you are worth someone else loving, that you are somebody that can give love even though you like were rejected or someone like caused a scar. It's like, it's okay. Like I choose to love myself. I know that like I'm worth a lot even though somebody else can't see it right now. Like I can see it. That's what I feel like this has a lot to do with you. Like it's like you can see it now, and then that's why you have this heaven and earth coming. That's why you have this true pair situation coming, right? Because you chose to love yourself. So then here comes the heaven and earth, right? It's like such beautiful energy, Taurus. Like I can't make this up. I feel like you allowed for the energy to flow, right? You allowed for the renewal of self, the change, right? You allowed it to happen. And you allowed to see that it's a lot to do with yourself. It's just like a lot to do with yourself. Like you chose to see that you really are abundant, that you really are beautiful, that you really are like everything. Like it doesn't matter if someone rejects you at that time or doesn't feel like they want to be with you, or you know what I mean. It's like it's all about yourself. Like you can now see yourself again in the light that you saw yourself in the past, which was someone who was like beautiful. I feel like they really did a number on you, whoever this was, and it's like it took a really long time to get back into this position, right? Back into the stability, and you are back into the stable, loving energy, right? The cup is compassionate, the cup is giving, the cup is nurturing, right? It's like you had to do that for yourself so that you can do it again for someone else, right? And it's like you're back to that energy towards you. So even though maybe like you question yourself, you're like, am I really ready to jump into like a relationship? Am I really ready? Like, have I done enough healing? Like they're telling you here that you are, right? Like that you are ready. That this new cycle for you is going to be abundant, that this new cycle is going to be filled with love, and it's because you chose to like love yourself, right? I love this card. I love this reading, guys. Let's pull some advice for you, even though I don't think you need it. So I feel like the message is to kind of go like celebrate yourself, right? Like it's the ending and the beginning, and this new beginning is looking like really good, right? With the heaven and earth. The heaven and earth is stability, right? Foundations, deep roots, right? I see a marriage contract here. It could be marriage. It could be like, you know, stability with a partner, right? And I feel like this has a lot to do with love. So it's like, you know, that partner that you've been looking for, it's like they're right here, right? Right? But I feel like maybe this might come first. Something here might come first and then this person, or maybe they come together. I'm not sure. But something here that settles you, like that makes you actually believe in the work that you've done comes, and then maybe this person. So yeah, Taurus, let's see if any divine feminines want to speak to you guys. I feel like, again, the advice though is to celebrate yourself, right? Acknowledge the fact of how far you've come. So Taurus, you guys have Yeshi Zogyal, Lady of the Lotus Born. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. I feel like the main message with this is to like, again, congratulate you for all the work that you've done. And I feel like what they want you to, like, they just want to say the fact, like, the reason that this is all coming for you is because you did recognize that your body was sacred. You did recognize that you deserved like the utmost respect, right? You did recognize that you are special, right? That you are holy, right? And it's like, it doesn't matter like where you come from. It doesn't matter who you are. It's like we all have this divinity within us. And it's like the reason that this is all coming to you is because you allowed to see your self-worth when others didn't, right? You saw that you were valuable when others couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like people might have dismissed you based on whatever, and it's like you saw the value in yourself even when nobody else did. So it's like that's all that matters, right? Because now that you see like the fact that you proclaimed your worth, right? That you were like, no, I am worthy, I'm sacred, right? It doesn't matter like who rejects me. It doesn't matter who thinks that I'm, you know, I don't care what other people think. Like, I am sacred. That's what I want to say. Like, you are, the fact that you were able to recognize that is that, like, it shows how much you love yourself, right? And that's why I feel like you're gonna be met with the love in return, right? Be met with the abundance that you seek and that you desire, because it comes with first from within yourself. And like, I feel like you went through a really tough cycle, and I think that they're just, again, they want to congratulate you for seeing that value in yourself, right, Taurus? So I really love this reading. I hope this resonates with you, Taurus. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.